episode of Talk Black NYC. I'm your host, Josiah Johnson. We have a special guest today, Donahue Peebles III. Let's check out what he has to say. Sitting down with us, taking some time.
Absolutely, thanks for having me.
I understand that time is of the essence, so we're going to go ahead and get started. So first question. So for our viewers who don't know, where are you from?
Bounced around the East Coast up and down, but originally from DC. In fact, I'm a third generation Washingtonian. My grandfather was a doorman at the Park Wardman. My grandfather was an auto mechanic, and my grandmother was a real estate appraiser, and my dad's from there as well. So, my ties are to DC, although I spent my formative years, for the most part, in Miami, Florida, which rendered me, among other terrible things, a Miami Dolphins fan. So we got our big playoff game against the Steelers tomorrow. Yeah. And,
let's just hope for the best.
I'll be prepared for disappointment, I can assure you.
Well, it shows that you're a loyal fan. Lots of people would have just jumped off the bandwagon and went somewhere else.
What ended up happening is I thought about it. In the dark years between our two playoff appearances, we went to the playoffs in 2008, got stomped by the Ravens. And we're going now with a backup quarterback in Matt Moore to go play Ben Roethlisberger in the most high-powered offense in the NFL. So in those dark years, my sister really liked the Dolphins' colors. And so she would always wear my Dolphins hat, and it was a reminder that maybe our team will grow up too.
That's a good way to look at it. That's
right,
All right, so you mentioned that you grew up in D.C. You have roots in DC. You mentioned your father was your grandfather was a doorman. Your father is
my great-grandfather.
Your great-grandfather was a doorman. As we know, your father, Donahue Peebles II, he's actually a real estate developer, well-known real estate developer. So why real estate?
And as we sit here on the corner of 58th and 5th, it's almost redundant to ask why real estate. If you look out the window behind me, you can see the Pierre Hotel, the GM building. You look across Central Park, you can see the Dakota. You look south, you can see the Empire State Building, and you start to think, right? These landmarks, serve to define a city. Real estate is perhaps, as close as you can get to legacy in its physical embodiment. And you're creating something that'll house the best day of someone's life, ideally, unfortunately, the worst day of someone's life, but someplace where people call home, where they make money, where they support their family. It's very, very practical. And there's this poem by Percy Shelley, Ozymandias, and essentially, without butchering quotations, it explains a traveler, and he's walking through this desert, and he sees this sort of barren stone, and it says, some sort of, here's this king Ozymandias, ruler of all that he surveyed. And the purpose that Shelley's trying to make is that everything man-made must die, and that there's mortality in these things. But what struck me as a real estate developer was, wait a minute, this was thousands and thousands of years ago, and there's still that building there. And now Percy Shelley, memorialized this fictional king, right? And so, there's a lasting element of real estate that even if you try to get away from how permanent and important it is, as Shelley did, you really can't.
That's a great way to think about it. I never actually seen it from that viewpoint. I understood the legacy piece, but you always think that buildings were diminished, they will go on. I thought it was more so about the name itself. You know what I mean? The actual ability to say, I contribute to this city, this town, this world, and so forth, with some sort of creation.
Exactly. It's the physical construction that allows people to live their lives, right? Yeah. The cities are ecosystems filled with people. They're the living things, right? But buildings provide those inputs that people respond to, that they react to, that live within. They're like trees in a forest almost.
Wow, this guy is deep. He's deep. Okay, so I heard you finished your undergraduate degree at Columbia University. Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So how were you able to balance between being a student at Columbia and being a senior associate of development at People's Corp?
It's a really interesting question. a lot of it comes down to time management and prioritizing. And so every now and again I have to step out of class to take a call from a lender or talk to my attorney. And those were things that, certainly made it more challenging to do well in school, but is a price that you've got to pay necessarily to have an outsized influence in the industry that I hope to dedicate my life to.
Definitely.
But the truth is with organization, and then when something matters to you, you'll make it work, right? When you have an interest, you'll find an excuse, and if you have an obsession, you'll find a way forward. And so I always had an obsession with real estate. And so whatever the inflection points were, whatever I had to do in order to get my work done and continue to be involved, that's what I was going to do. So I'd pay any cost.
You mentioned some of the projects earlier, off camera, that you're currently working on.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's my understanding that you actually pushed for the redevelopment of the Long Island Hospital in Brooklyn, downtown Brooklyn?
I did, and unfortunately we didn't win. What I thought was important there was a large subsection of affordable housing mixed in with market rate units. And I thought that would be compelling to the seller, given that they're a public entity of sorts. Ultimately, it wasn't, and they awarded it to Fortis Property Group.
Gotcha.
But we're trying to replicate that actually in DC with the SLSDC, which has a large off-site affordable housing component on a site that we already own that had excess residential FAR. And so what we're able to do there is build an approximately 45 unit affordable housing building for seniors exclusively.
Wow.
Because and it's terrible that this epidemic permeates every major metropolitan area in the United States. But there are seniors on fixed incomes whose property values rise, and the property taxes end up sinking them. And so you're rendering these people who've worked their whole lives to earn pensions, and then collect Social Security. You're rendering them homeless in a circumstance where they can no longer fend for themselves. And so senior housing, in my mind, is of paramount importance from a policy perspective. And so when we had the opportunity to deliver that in DC on a piece of property that's been in my family since 1985, we jumped at the opportunity. Because it's one thing to build a cool hotel and luxury condos downtown, and that's awesome, that's fun, it makes us money, and it's exciting, it's very well. But on the other hand, I think that there's something important ethically as far as giving back to the community that built my family.
Now, with so much happening in the tech space, and the reason why I bring this up because you mentioned affordable housing, and in the tech space, there's this new thing called real estate crowdfunding and so forth. One, how do you feel that ties in with what's going on currently with affordable housing? And two, do you think People's Corp will ever be into credit financing and actually putting one of their deals up for real estate crowdfunding?
That'd be very, very interesting. I think that, in fact, I was just in San Francisco at a tech summit. I met with a bunch of the VCs out there. Deutsche Bank actually has an incubator space. Toured that, met with a couple of founders of some companies, and destabilizing the real estate industry, or what is it, creative destruction, is very, very important. And I think the industry is rife for someone to come in and revolutionize the financing process. I think that crowdfunding for real estate projects is in its infancy, and so its ability to raise the requisite capital for us to do our deals is something that it aspires to. I think it'll get there. I don't think it's there now.
Same here.
But I think that would be great because what it does is it's more populist. It opens the door for non-institutional, regular people to come in and participate in deals with significant upside. The profit and the equity positions shouldn't be just available to a Goldman Sachs or a JP Morgan, but you as a non-accredited investor should be able to go and buy a piece of property or buy interest in the development. I think that'd be incredible.
So there's that political component of it all. And there's talks that your dad may possibly run for mayor.
He's certainly considering it.
Yes. So I think I'm excited. I know you have to be excited as well. Do you ever see yourself getting involved with politics as well?
It's interesting. It's always challenging for me to have long-term goals, right? I think that more important than goals is values and principles.
Definitely.
Right? And as long as you continue to subscribe to those values and principles and hold yourself accountable to those standards, I think that the achievements, will make themselves available. The world will really get out your way.
Definitely.
In a lot of ways. But politics is something I'm certainly interested in.
Yeah.
Leaving a lasting legacy of helping other people, particularly our community, is something that matters to me.
Definitely.
And it'd be hard to pull me away from what I'm doing now, but I think that with the right opportunity, and the right sort of seat of influence, I think that just might do the job.
Okay. And you mentioned values. So I did some research, and it said that I was watching one interview with your father, and he said that after high school graduation, he said that you can have any car you wanted. You could buy any car that you wanted. He'll buy it for you, and you chose a used car. Why? I know most kids in that same position, they would have went for the Audi A4, they would have went for the newest BMW or Benz and so forth. But you said, no, I'm gonna go for a used car.
I'm sure, and then my dad has a bunch of nice cars, and I've driven some of them, and it's fun.
Yeah.
Driving a fast car is great, driving a nice car is great, but there's something to be said for driving a car you earned, and the first time you get that real nice car, that ultra luxury car, you got it. And so actually, I got that experience during college. I ended up saving up enough money to lease a Porsche Cayman S, and so I ended up leasing that, and that was much more fulfilling than just getting bought whatever sort of sports car.
Okay, so you had the opportunity to be the current president who was leaving his way out of office, Barack Obama. How was that experience?
It was incredibly powerful. The first time I met him, I was in 8th grade.
Okay.
And or 7th grade, actually, so running for president. And at the time, I didn't understand the significance in a lot of ways. But looking back on it, I actually saw him at the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation dinner a month or two ago.
Nice.
And you think how powerful it is that a little black boy who's 2 or 3 years old can look at the president of the United States and say, he looks like me.
Yeah. I
can do that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think that just that alone, contributes so strongly to his legacy. It's not as much, his doing in that circumstance, but just the significance of him being in his position. I'm at a loss for words, so to speak. There's actually a picture, and I got it on my Instagram, and it's also on his Instagram, of him reaching over and shaking hands with a little black boy who's so young that he doesn't remember another president.
Yeah.
And you're there, and you're thinking to yourself, that's got to be one of the most inspiring and empowering moments for that kid, to realize that the president looks like me. The most powerful man in the world looks like me.
Definitely. He would dearly be missed. Definitely be missed. So what's such a busy schedule? What do you do to unwind? On your off time?
My life is very simple.
Yeah.
So simple. I go to the gym every morning.
Okay.
Play ball sometimes on the weekends.
Okay.
I don't have TV or internet, so I don't really do that.
No internet?
No internet.
I've heard no TV, but no internet. That's a first.
Yeah, I live real close to the office, so I need to get work done. I'll do it here.
Nice.
Right, my house is for me.
Yeah.
Read a lot. Try to stay on top of current events. Try to enjoy some fiction.
Nice.
But then in the nicer months, man, I'm outside.
Yeah.
There's no reason to be cooped up inside when it's 70 and sunny. So.
You're right about that. You miss Miami? You miss
every day. I miss Miami from November to March.
Yes, exactly.
Every year.
Exactly. I imagine this weather right now is. Yeah.
It's cold. It's cold. I mean, good thing is we don't work outside.
Yeah, exactly.
But it is cold.
Yeah.
But we're fortunate enough to be in the position where that's not a life or death circumstance for us. So I try my best not to complain. I don't always succeed.
Yeah. So, who do you think will have the Super Bowl? Who do you have? I know you're a Dolphins fan.
Look, the Pats look great.
Okay.
Right? 14-2. It's tough to bet against Tom Brady.
Yeah.
You know, I don't believe in Dak Prescott like that.
Okay.
But the Cowboys, you know, of course, are interesting. And Aaron Rodgers. I mean, the physical tools that guy has, he can take the pack all the way as well.
Okay.
I know that being, you know, a long-time New York resident, I'm supposed to say something about the Giants.
Yeah, exactly.
But I just don't believe in Eli Manning like that. He's always going to be the little brother to me.
Got you. Okay. Well, Donahue, thank you so much for your time.
No problem.
Appreciate you, man.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Take care. Thanks again for watching Talk Black NYC. For more amazing episodes, please click the subscribe link below.